Isaac Newton, Sir Isaac Newton, born December 25th, 1642, died March 20th, 1726, an English mathematician, physicist, astronomer, theologian, and author. Described as a natural philosopher, a key figure in the philosophical revolution known as the Enlightenment. His book, Philosophiæ, Naturalis, Principia, Mathematica, Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy, first published in 1687, established classical mechanics. In Principia, Newton formulated the laws of motion and universal gravitation that formed the dominant scientific viewpoint until it was superseded by the theory of relativity. Newton used his mathematical description of gravity to derive Kepler's laws of planetary motion, account for tides, trajectories of comets, the precession of equinoxes, and other phenomena, eradicating doubts about the solar system's heliocentricity. He demonstrated that the motion of objects on Earth and celestial bodies could be accounted for by the same principles, developed a sophisticated theory of color based on the observation that a prism separates white light into the colors of the visible spectrum. His work on light was collected in his highly influential book, Optics, published in 1704. He also formulated an empirical law of cooling, made the first theoretical calculation of the speed of sound, and introduced the notion of Newtonian fluid. In addition to his work on calculus as a mathematician, Newton contributed to the study of power series, generalized the binomial theorem to non-integer exponents, developed a method for approximating the roots of a function, and classified most of the cubic plane curves. Politically and personally tied to the Whig Party, Newton served two brief terms as Member of Parliament for the University of Cambridge. In 1689, 1690, and 1701, 1702, he was knighted by Queen Anne in 1705. Newton later became involved in a dispute with Leibniz over priority in the development of calculus, the Leibniz-Newton calculus controversy. Most modern historians believe that Newton and Leibniz developed calculus independently, although with very different mathematical notations. Occasionally, it has been suggested that Newton published almost nothing about it until 1693 and did not give a full account until 1704, while Leibniz began publishing a full account of his methods in 1684. Leibniz' notation and differential method, nowadays recognized as much more convenient notations, were adopted by continental European mathematicians. Newton's work has been said to distinctly advance every branch of mathematics then studied. Hereby the same thing is performed as by the method of indivisibles. Principia has been called a book dense with the theory and application of infinitesimal calculus. Newton is generally credited with the generalized binomial theorem, valid for any exponent. He discovered Newton's identities, Newton's method, classified cubic plane curves, polynomials of degree 3 in 2 variables, made substantial contributions to the theory of finite differences, and was the first to use fractional indices and to employ coordinate geometry to derive solutions to Diophantine equations. He approximated partial sums of the harmonic series by logarithms, a precursor to Euler's summation formula. English poet Alexander Pope wrote the famous epitaph, "Nature and nature's laws lay hid in night. God said, let Newton be, and all was light." Newton was relatively modest about his achievements, writing in a letter to Robert Hooke in February 1676, stating, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." In a later memoir, Newton wrote, "I do not know what I may appear to the world, but to myself I seem to have been only like a boy playing on the seashore and diverting myself, and now and then finding a smoother pebble or a prettier shell than ordinary, whilst the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before